That's where you applaud. Yeah! So this presentation is sponsored by FTD, and it will be done by Ann Jordan, AIFD. She's got a whole litany of awards and things. A couple of notes: she is the FTD Education Specialist, was the past president of AIFD, and the coordinator of the 2022 AIFD Symposium Roots in Las Vegas. She also was the coordinator of the AIFD Symposium Revolution in 2010 in Boston, Massachusetts. And she's been honored with the John Valentine Award from FTD, and is also a fellow of AIFD, which is a big honor. If you don't know what all of that means, please look it up. It's really, really wonderful. That's part of why we're all here, is to learn more about the floral industry. So while we're getting settled in, let's give a big hand for Ms. Ann Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. So I know you were expecting Jacob McCall. I hope you're not so very disappointed, but he had a family emergency. So Wednesday, I got a call from our boss at FTD saying, "Are you free this weekend?" And I gotta tell you, I'm semi-retired and really enjoying my life. You know, most of you know I'm from Maine, but in the winter I spend a few months in Florida. So she caught me on the golf course when she called, and I said, I can absolutely do it, but put me on the end of the list. If anybody else, can do it, don't pick me. And then the next morning I look and the first text said, "Tag, you're it." So the only thing that can pull me out of my wonderful semi-retirement life is FTD and a state florist association. Do you know what you have here with this association? Do you know how many state florist associations don't even exist anymore? Maine doesn't have one any longer. Barely active in New Hampshire, and Connecticut was one of the biggest ones, and that one's gone by the wayside as well. So what you have here with this State Florist Association, you gotta embrace it. And if somebody from a committee calls and says, "Hey, can you help in the back room?" or "We need help putting on a dinner or a presentation," say yes. That's where you learn the most, is working in the back room and working with designers. So I applaud FTD for rallying and coming to your state show. And I was here, I want to say, oh man, it's got to be 10 years ago. And so it's been a while since I've been up this way. I was really happy that you didn't have snow, because I'm going home to Maine next week, and they do. So I was saying in the back room, whatever weather you get here, we get the next day, right? So you're our barometer. Okay, so program about color. Let's see. How do you feel about color? Is this the first thing we ask customers about favorite colors? We might do that, right? What about yourself? Any favorite colors out there?
Yellow.
Yellow, we have a yellow. Anybody else? Favorite colors?
Purple.
Green, purple, blue, white. Yeah, a non-color. Right. All over the place, right. Do you know universally the favorite color is what? Across the globe, favorite color? Blue. Blue. Yeah. Men's favorite colors are what? Blues and greens. Blues and greens. Unless they have a sports team, right? If they have a sports team, right? I don't mean just men, right? And women are going to be more in the pinks, the reds. Second favorite would be violets. Yeah. So then there's how to move all of our favorite colors into what? What we wear and how we decorate. Yeah. So I do find with florists that one of the first things we will ask is, do you know do they have a favorite color? Do you hear yourself saying that? Yeah, because I think between all the decorating shows that are on Magnolia Network and certainly on HGTV, that there are so many shows that talk about color, that I believe our consumer really does know and understand color. Would you agree? Yeah, right. What about emotions of color? Anybody feel something different when they're surrounded by a certain color? Yeah, like what?
Black.
Black.
I feel like I'm welcoming every other color in.
Okay. So when you decorate with black or wear black, you find it a neutral. So anything else is welcome. True. Our neutrals do that.
It's a statement.
And it's a statement.
What you wear.
A statement of what? Sophistication, right? It's a funny thing, though, the more you study color, because with color, something like black, in some cultures is what? Taboo, right? And in some cultures, it's more of a lucky color. So it's very, very cultural. Color is amazing. I work in North Carolina for a wonderful company, an Evergreens company. Worked for them for 12 years. And I work with a lot of Latinos. And I find that they, from culture, they wear bright, gorgeous, vivid colors that are so saturated. Do you know what I mean? I'm from New England, so we tend to be a little bit more conservative. So you're going to see a lot of taupe, right? Non-colors with conservative people. Yeah, so in colder climate, do you know what I'm saying? But culturally, and I notice here with the jewelry out there, that's culture. Can you not embrace that and love that forever? Yeah, so the science and the nature of color is one thing, but there's so many other factors from how you were raised, where you were raised, definitely, right? So let's look into it a little bit. I roam around. I hope you're comfortable with that. Yeah. Okay. Favorite color. Let's talk about that first. Blue. A lot of you said blue. Where are my blues? Wearing blue. Are you wearing blue? No. Team colors, I think, right? Okay, blue. See if this sounds like you, if you love blue. You're loyal, you're dependable, you're sincere, you're trustworthy. You inspire people. You convey trust. The use of blue suggests precision, security, and order, and it's the global favorite. And wouldn't you know, most politicians are wearing what color? Because they want us to believe they're all those things, don't they? With the power red tie, yeah. What brands come to mind with the color blue? Which one? Ralph Lauren. Who else? What else? Other color. Come on, there's some that you should say right now. Pepsi is red, has red in it too, does it? How about Facebook? How about Ford, AT&T, and American Express? Right. Don't all of those companies want to purvey an image of loyalty, dependability, so forth and so on? Absolutely. And here's the thing about color, is I know that, I was Googling something. I know I'm not going to remember a logo, but I'm going to remember that Facebook is blue. I'm going to remember that the financial apps that I have are blue, and they're on this page. One of my favorite apps is Audible. I know it's orange. I wouldn't be able to identify and tell you what the logo looks like immediately, but I can find, don't you look at all your apps and go by color first? Uh-huh. Yep. Somebody suggests that you put all your apps by color, because if you're looking for certain apps and you know them to be blue, orange, whatever, and you put them on the same page. But I tend to have the ones I use mostly, Pandora, Pinterest. My absolute favorite, hooked on it, is red, and that's YouTube, right? I look for the red. I can't tell you what the logo is, but I can tell you that it's red. right? So you can prove right here on your cell phone that we all do that. Now, I came up from Florida, not Maine, and designers that do presentations like I do, we pretty much have a suitcase that's always packed with our creature comforts in it. So for me, it would be yarn and beads and ribbon and vintage things, and I'd have a suitcase packed with that. But also, I would bring my, my color wheel. And I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday, or Michael's I guess it was, to look for a color wheel to share with you guys, and they were sold out of color wheels, so I guess it's a hot thing here. So I was there and we bought a pad of colorful paper, and we made one. So there you have it, homemade in the back room. There's a group of young ones here, high school kids from FFA. Where are you? Over here. There they are. They helped me in the back room and created the color wheel. And so color wheel, does everybody have one in their toolbox? Yeah. I find it particularly now with prom season coming up, wedding season, it's a good idea to have a color wheel. So if your favorite color is blue, a complement to blue is directly across on the color wheel. So the complement is orange. And don't the seasons kind of lead us that way too? Can you imagine this in fall? Blue with some oranges, right? The complement to green is red. The complement to yellow is the Easter colors, right? So we have violet and yellow. Primary colors are, red, yellow, blue. The secondary colors are orange, green, and purple. Thank you. Yeah. So, of course, a real color wheel would have also the colors in between, called the tertiary colors. So those would be the double named colors. So in this case, it would be orange, yellow, so forth and so on. But we'll refer to this homemade version for today. Cool colors. So let's start with the cool colors. Here's a combination mixing whites into greens. Now we know white to be a neutral, but there's still proper use of foliage when you're working with whites to convey what you want. So with this particular arrangement, I didn't use any foliage because I wanted you to help me select what might be a good idea. And so I have suggestions. And so let's all decide. All right. These are the choices that we have for foliage. Readily available to us, right? So look at this. Is it not yummy already? Just that's beautiful, isn't it? These tropicals. So can you imagine that arrangement? I'm going to separate these. Look this side with a variation. Look at the yumminess on the other side. Can we love that? We can love that, can't we? Right. So that's a choice. How about, does this tell a different story? The flax tells a different story, doesn't it? Oh, this one's so beautiful too. Look at this side. Isn't that yum, yum, yummy? What about that? With just a little glimpse of this violet on the other side. Yeah, you really like that one, don't you? Yep. Okay. Here's a cool one, and this is the one I was going to use. Look how beautiful that is. Yeah, so it's a deep, dark, beautiful green with some whites. Now, what do you think of that one? Yeah? A lot of nods on that. And then gray has been so popular. So to mix these whites with gray, not much contrast, is there? Do you see? Yeah. Do you agree? Right. Not much contrast at all with that one. So what do you pick? What did you pick? What's your favorite? Who thinks this is the match, the best offering? Yeah? A lot of people like that. How about this one? Yeah, you were all nodding when I pulled up. That's the winner. Winner, winner. So look, isn't that beautiful? So let's add a couple. One of the best books that I have, and it's not relatively new, it's by Renee Van Rems. It's called Renee's Bouquets. And in the opening part of that book, it shows just pages of color choices of foliage alone to help you choose what you might use with your arrangements. So let's see if we love it. This is a big bubble bowl. The mechanics of this are a taped grid on the top. Normally, I use a lot of branches in my design. I like what's called a natural mechanic, and I'm one to use less and less plastic all the time. But the taped grid really does work, doesn't it? Yep. So when you don't have a fistful of branches to pop down into a vessel to arrange in, and I'll show you how I did that as well. Okay, what did I do with my greens? Oh, I must have more. I just have one. Oh, look at them. I need people like you around me all the time. All right, let's see if we love it in the end. Look, yeah? You like your choice? Yeah, you could roll them, but look what green does. Some people said green was their favorite color. Yeah. So is this warming it up to you? Is it making it feel at home? Is it making it feel cozy to you? Right. See how important the choice of greens are? I didn't arrange it with greens first. I seldom do. I like beautiful, nice greens. And if we take our greens and we wad them up because that's what we're going to arrange in, and then you don't see them after, if we do the right mechanic at the opening of the vase, then the affordability for the client is here. Now, what happens in sophistication with this? Oh, yeah, right? And what do your clients say when you get a mixed box of these gorgeous greens like this, all from Florida, right? Yum. Now, that makes you stand apart in your flower shop. Would you not agree? Absolutely. So choice of greens, I would really like you to look at my work today and say, huh, really? Why did you pick that green over another choice of greens? All right, we'll just play with that. Here's another one. Foliage last in this green arrangement. Foliage is absolutely last, and it was two of these. Jackie Lacey looked these up for me. It's part of the Alocasia family, and I just wanted two of them terraced just like that. When you have these great big flowers, the cabbages, I guess veggies, right? And I popped 3 down in, and then I just arranged all around them. Because I find that I like to make money in my floristry. And if we're doing all this pre-greening stuff, I never did understand it. If we just get the right container, this happens to be from FTD Marketplace, and it has that choke on it that is just absolutely perfect. You pop down a few things and arrange around them, and that affords you gorgeous statement foliage. Make sense? Yep, and I'll never pre-green as long as variegated pittosporum is around. Because when I work, I don't have a flower shop anymore, but I work in flower shops for holidays, and all this pre-greening, I just don't understand it. Pop in a couple of stems of variegated pittosporum and call it a day, right? Because all this overtime to pre-green, I just don't get it. Christmas, we need to do it because it's a little bit more involved than every day. But choice of the vase, this particular container, because it's low, but it has a choke. Does that make sense? Yep. A little bit of ribbon treatment. I'm very tactile, and I love fabric. I love yarns. So I tend to add a lot of that type of a texture to my arrangement because it's a signature look too. People are going to expect my designs to have fabrics, just the way I am. Here's a little ribbon bouquet. I wanted something to go with this set, so I just had time cleaning my bench last night, and they had all this beautiful, beautiful ribbon. So these are just little ribbon roses with wired ribbon. You just pull the wire and wrap them around, and they're so easy and cute to make. And I made tons of these because you can pop in flowers too, and it's the right size for mother of the bride. This is what I carried when my children got married because I'm not really a corsage person. It's funny, I'll wear flowers in my hair, I'll wear flowers on my cowboy boots, but I don't want one here. But I will carry this, and I find it to be very light and elegant. So it's a good idea for mothers of the brides, but just to glue in a few sweet flowers, be lovely. So this is called monochromatic, tints, tones, and shades of one color. Tints, tones, and shades, in this case, of what color? Green. Green. Where are my green people? Where are my favorite? Green's the favorite. Yeah. See if this sounds like you. You're generous. You love to grow things. You're lucky. Peace. You love peace. Good health is important to you. You feel that green rejuvenates you and revitalizes you. What brands feature green? Brands feature green. Anybody? Hello Fresh? It's a good one. Whole Food. Sprite. What one? Is that around? What? Is it local? It's a local one? Oh, shop online, okay. FTD. It's gold and black, right? And now they have the new green. We knew it as gold and black for many years. Thank you. How about John Deere? How about Starbucks? H&R Block, we're probably all heading there now, right? And Holiday Inn. Okay, so green. I mentioned all those beautiful words about growth and luck and peace. But money is green. We call them greenbacks. And what could be more stressful than money, right? For a lot of people, money is very stressful. So every color also has an alternative, doesn't it? You can't say that everything about green is a nurturing color, because you can find with every color that there's something about it that has another type of a factor. I don't want to say negativity, but the opposite, total opposite, right, of what we think of when we just mention green and the color green. Okay. Let's see. Pink? You got a pink? Yeah. More pinks? Pinks? Pink, pink, pink? Yeah? Pinks? See if this sounds like you. You're compassionate. You love love. Admiration. You're playful. And you have fascination with everything. And what brands might be pink? Barbie. Victoria's Secrets. And they're very feminine, right? Right. That's the power of the pink. Okay. So let's talk about pink and some design work. So we'll jump over to here. Pink with what color? With a violet. And we've added white to red to get pink. We've added white to violet to get a lavender, right? So they're tints. If we add gray, which this looks grayish to me too, right? So we're adding gray to get a tone. Tints, tones, and shades all within an arrangement. So let's take a look at it. And I want you to look at the Foliage choice. I used brown. Very deliberately, I used brown because to tell you the truth, I'm tired of gray. Really tired. Unless you're talking about my hair, I don't want to talk about gray. I'm just tired of it. In homes, all of it. It's had its reign. Anybody else with me? Yeah. They just did a survey about what's got to go in home decor, and that was the #1 thing. It's like a little bit of it goes a long way, doesn't it? Yeah, but with some of these homes where the floor, the walls, the furniture, all gray, you feel like you're living in a file cabinet, right? Or a battleship or something. Yeah, a gloomy day. So what's coming back, thankfully? Brown. Brown, thank you. Yeah, I'm thrilled too. I love brown. So here's the intent of it. I want you to look at the foliage choices. The gray, because it is still trending, and it's going to take a while to move to brown. But look at how it makes a statement in that arrangement. Right. So these are tints and tones of violet and red. And then if I tell you that this is the same thing, is it not? It's the same thing. It's reds. Pink is red. And it's violets. But what happened? Oh yeah, the use is what? Full intensity of color. Now, I want to ask you this. When you look at this, do you get energy? When you look at this, do you get energy? No, isn't that wild? Now think of some of the events that you do. If it's something that you want more confined, peaceful, calming, you're moving here, right? But if you want it to be happening, you're going to move to this. Why? Color choice matters greatly. So think about it in the events, weddings, different things that you do, because the liveliness of that, it just screams at you, doesn't it? So we're using full saturation of color. It means that we have not added white, we have not added gray, and we have not added black. Black would be a shade. Tints, tones, and shades. Anybody have a favorite? Full intensity of color? Favorite? Yeah? Anybody like the peacefulness of this one? Yeah? So they both have their place, don't they? So let's talk about mixing them. So here, can we mix them? Right? We've moved in the color wheel a little bit. But what do you think of this one? Has some tonal addition of gray. You see it in here. You see it in here. Violet with a little touch of gray. But here it's intense. And there's also a proportion of it too. We always know with design something has to be more, something has to be less. It's mostly what? It's mostly tonal, mostly grade tones with what they call that pop of color, right? Being this beautiful, beautiful violet. And the choice of green is very deliberate because here we're already talking about a tonal green, so I needed to go elsewhere, and I love the whips of ivy moving around it. This is another FTD vase. This little section in the middle with all these mostly pastel colors is, like I told you, I was on YouTube all the time. I am on YouTube all the time. And I like to follow the young people and where they're driven. And I love the ones that are following cottage core, and they're the grand millennials. You know what I'm talking about? They're in the vintage shops. They want things of fine quality. This generation wants the quality of what their grandmothers had. They don't want their parents' stuff that they got from IKEA that fell apart. They're going for craftsmanship. This is such a cool generation. And I gotta tell you what, when you set up venues in your store that feature them and what they want, they're comfortable in your store. I just love this group and what they're doing. Restoring furniture and learning how to knit, all of that. It's not generally what they got from their parents, it's what they're deriving from grandparents. Isn't that kind of cool? And I've always been a grand millennial, and I'm going to be 68, but I've always been that. I've always liked old things. It's a craftsmanship, isn't it? Yeah. So for them, they're going to want lace again. Things like that, that probably we've got rid of in the store, but now it's all coming back. So that's why in this display I added some yarn, a little bit of the lace, and textural things. This arrangement, in one of my favorite containers, talk about a container you don't have to pre-green, it's this one. The hammered gold. If you're watching the home decor channels, you're noticing the hardware is what? Moving away from nickel. It's moving to beautiful brushed gold. This hammered vase from FTD. This is another one. Pop down, what? My favorite pittosporum. 1 or 2 stems of that, call it a day. And what color combination is this? Anybody? It's a complement would be using the color across on the color wheel, and I used every single color on the color wheel. So this one's actually called polychromatic. Poly, many colors, polychromatic. Personal choice, not my favorite. I like analogous. I like to stay pretty close on the color wheel for me personally. So often when we use assorted colors like this, mixed colors like this, it's sometimes seen as country. If this were full intense, it would look like what? A birthday party, or it looked juvenile, right? Because colors speak to us that way. But here, all the uses of colors, because maybe they're what? Tinted and tonal, aren't they? Yeah. So here, in a gold vase, with ribbon wrapped around it and a little bit of yarn, I think this speaks to the grand millennial. Thank you. Some grand millennials out there. So here I am on the color wheel. Used them all, right? But why not? It's still, the end result was really something that was subtle and lovely. Are you finding weddings tend to want to move in that direction? Do a lot of weddings with that coloration? Okay. Okay, somebody out there was a yellow. A couple of yellows in the crowd. See if this sounds like you. You're positive, loaded with optimism. You're cheerful. You value your friendships. You believe in hope. You exude joy. Aware, you're awake, and you are energized. Does that sound like you? Oh yeah. Okay, my yellows. What corporations use yellow? Snapchat? I wouldn't know. Social media is still voyeurism to me. You know, that's how old I am. Let's see. What is it? McDonald's. Anybody else? What is it? Best Buy. Best Buy? How about Cheerios? How about National Geographic? You just hear a couple of tunes of the music and that rectangle and you know what's happening, right? It's National Geographic, right? So yellow, can you think anything negative that goes with yellow? What is it? A yellow flag, like for car racing? Volleyball game, a yellow flag is a no good, okay? What about the Nazi symbol for the Jews? It was yellow. So when I told you there's all these positive things I'm mentioning, there is something on the other side for contrast every single time. Yeah. Okay, my yellows. I think I did these. All right, let's talk about some flowers. Let's move now into shades. Add white, you get a tint, what we call pastel colors. Add gray, you get a tone. Add black, you get a shade. So was this not add black? right? Yeah. So when does this work for us, right? Because we want to use this stuff. This is so cool. So when does it work? So I would think here, I came from the beach, so before I left, I picked some shells for you because I thought you might enjoy that. Here's my favorite container from FTD. I told you I like to make money in this industry, and I feel like we waste a lot of money because we don't know what to do with short and broken stems, right? So here I've made almost like a terrarium. It's called encasement design, and down deep were a couple of heads that broke off. When do I use them? Immediately. I don't wait, make a pile, or stick them in a vase that you're never going to use up later, right? Because you're going to stick it in the cooler because you're going to use it up tomorrow, but then Tuesday comes along, you make another little vase, you put it beside Mondays, and Wednesday comes and there's another little vase, and by Friday there's 5 little vases. You're laughing, but it happens, right? Yeah. And then Monday morning you throw out last week's vases because you're just going to start again. Well, if you add all that up, I'm not going to make any money, you're not going to get paid well, sorry. So if it's just plain old not allowed, how about that instead? Don't allow it. It's too much money. So anyway, here's the flax, gorgeous color. Just slice a little hole in the side, stuck that in. It gives it an air of what we would call a formal linear arrangement. So we're seeing a lot of negative space in anything that's formal linear. But my number one takeaway I want you to take from this idea is that you can use an encasement design when you have a gorgeous vase like this and not waste those little broken heads. You can use them up like this. Do you think your customers would like something like that that's minimal but super elegant, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so that's tonal. Now this, it's not your traditional fall arrangement, is it? Magnolia leaves are one of my favorite foliages because I told you I'm a brown, I love brown. And so I've banded it. It's kind of my signature look is to band my vases with yarns and ribbons and all kinds of different things. But here I have attached so that you see the suede side of it. So this is already very textural, isn't it? Is it already speaking to a season? Right. So does a season tell us what colors to use? Yes. So here we're going. We're not even hitting spring yet, but I'm bringing you back to fall. But is there a place to use tonal pastels in fall? Because I think there's homes that need this rather than some of the colors that we're doing for fall. Now, what do you think of my choice of greens here? The brown. I've added what? The gray tonal. And this is almost like a tonal green, isn't it? Do you see a little gray in that green? But what I love about it is the branch that's in it, the lateral that's in it, is red. So see where the choice of green is super duper important? Because it works, doesn't it? So are you ready to go here for fall? Yeah. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. I don't think I'll get that one back there because it would probably be a calamity, but you can see it well enough. No, you're fine. The tiniest one in the crowd wants to handle the largest arrangement, right? Sure. No, I think we can all see it there. Look at the heavy use of magnolia there. So the mechanics of that was a magnolia stem on this side, a magnolia stem on the other. The band of gold around that just speaks beautifully to that. Curly willow shooting really, really tall. These are materials that Jacob had procured for his show. I have no idea how he intended to use them. So I hope that he'll be pleased with what I've done. But we have intense colors in which color? The orange, right? So do you see what I mean by color proportion? Something has to be more, something has to be less. So what is less? The orange. It kind of speaks loud, doesn't it? But it's mostly shaded and tonal product, accented by bright vivids. Yep. So with everything that we do in design, line, form, space, all of it, there's a proportion that goes with that. And in this case, that's when I really wanted you to see where proportion in design through color really, really matters. Yeah. Because if it were 50% this and 50% the other, nothing's dominant. And we know in design we want dominance. Okay. Okay, let's get through a couple more colors here. Did I do purple? Didn't do purple yet. Where's my purple people? Yeah, purple people are different. You know you are. You know you are. Purple. Mystery. Spirituality. Compassion. You encourage creativity every which way you can. You love to inspire. You combine wisdom with your power. And guess what? It also means wealth and royalty. Anybody know brands that are purple? What is it? Crown Royal. I can make a quilt out of those little velvet bags. How about Hallmark? Yeah. Yahoo. Cadbury eggs. Yeah. Wealth and royalty. So back in the day, with just getting colors to dye clothing and to dye fabric, it took, I can't tell you how many of a particular snail to crush the shells to get the dye to make the royal robes. Not everybody could afford those snails, right? So that's why we think of purple as royalty, because they were the only ones that could get their hands on that little snail to crush it, to make the dye, to dye their clothes. So that's why we associate purple with wealth. Couple more. Where's my reds? Where's my passionate people? Oh yeah, okay. So here's the reds. You're passionate, you're bold, you're courageous, you have strength. People think you're excited. You exude excitement. There's also a mystery about you that's dangerous. You draw attention, you stimulate. But also, the other side of that is what? Deadly. Danger. Remember, stop signs are what color? Red. What are some companies? What are brands that are red? YouTube, yeah. What else? What is it? Coca-Cola, absolutely. Target, the bullseye. Anybody else? YouTube. Budweiser. King of beers. Yeah, we've got the Crown Royal over here and the Budweiser. Do you guys know each other? How about Netflix? Yeah, Netflix. Any orange people? I'm an orange. I'm an orange. So when you say you love orange, I love the warmer, if I love brown, you know I love burnt orange and brick colors and things like that. So here, see if this speaks to you if you're an orange. You love adventure, you're creative, you're confident, you're impulsive, you're fun and playful, you communicate fun, you express freedom. Does that sound like you? Yeah. Companies that are orange companies? What is it? Schneider's, that's a local grocery, right? Oh, trucking company, okay.
Phantom?
What is it?
Phantom?
Phantom, that's a soda. Okay, Phantom. What's the big one? Shutterfly. Yep, Shutterfly. What is it? Home Depot. Home Depot, go orange. And Nickelodeon was another one that I noticed just going through the channels last night. I said, oh, look at that Nickelodeon logo. All right, I had a few of you. Somebody said white, and somebody said black. White, clean, purity, and health. Brands. Could only come up with one. Dove soap. Black. Black is a professional color. It's intelligence, authority, balance, luxury, elegance. On the other side of it, instills fear and intimidation, right? There's two sides to these colors. Can't have it all one way. Any grays out there? It's more neutral, demands respect, calm, it's timeless, maturity. Also, it's depressing, and it depresses energy. Okay, so a coffee shop, customers are saying, it's cold in here, it's cold in here, it's cold in here. The suggestion was, change the color of the walls to a warm color. They changed the colors of the walls to a clay color, and guess what? Nobody complained about the temperature anymore. That is what happens when we have work with color. Now, there can be too much. My yellow people in particular. Thank you. 50? Thank you. My yellow people in particular. An overdose of color, right? So you go into the room. I described the gray room. Now you describe the yellow room. It's the yellow walls and the yellow this and the yellow that and the yellow over. That's what? Color annoying. It's annoying. Right? It's annoying. Any other color that moves into annoying? Like greens, nobody ever says that about green. Red. Red can be overdone. Right. Orange is another one. It can be overdone to what? Annoyance. Right. But there's some of them, the ranges in color like green, you never hear anybody say that they're tired of any of the greens, because the greens go to that beautiful gray green. We might call it sage. And then we pop it into all these different colors as well. I'll give you another good example about use of color. And it's, oh, I forgot a blue. Did I do blue? I did do blue. Did I forget Tiffany? Tiffany blue, or did I mention it? Yeah, right? Where does this color fit? I think this color goes with everything. Turquoise goes with coral, goes with red, goes with yellow, goes with everything. And here, where would you put it? Anywhere, right? Does it fit here? If that vase was this color, would you be disappointed? No. Does it belong here? Yeah. Does it belong here? Yeah, see? I think turquoise is a neutral. Maybe not here, right? Maybe not there, but here, yeah. Okay. I wanted to mention, because I told you I love making money. I know you do too. It's okay to say that, right? You won't think ill of me if I tell you that? And so these are drop-in bouquets. What are they called?
Labor savers.
Labor savers. Look at the color already. Now, the folks that said, yes, please, to this, these come already just like this. And you just, literally, seriously. I mean, you cut them to the right length. It's wonderful. Who comes up with this stuff? Look at that, right? Labor saver bouquets. They're one of the hottest things that FTD is doing. There's all kinds of them over in the booth. If you stop over at the FTD booth and just express to them that you learned something today and mention the program, and they'll sign you up for, what is it?
A free gift bag.
A gift bag? Swag.
It's got a swag bag, so there's tons of other things in it.
Well, he had a stand-up sale. No, just precisely who you are.
Anita, I'm here with Jillian from FTD. Thank you everyone for coming. Steve.
Yes, so if you go and, yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, sponsorships for these shows. I'm just thrilled that FTD does support the state florist associations because, like I said, the state florist associations aren't what they used to be, but yours is. And there's a good reason for it, is because look at how many here are supporting it and how many people were in that back room. I think it had to have been every 10 minutes. Somebody from your association came to help me do anything that I needed. I just mentioned a few things that if I got to it, I might like, and next thing you know, it was done. And so it doesn't happen like that in every state. So you're blessed for what you have with your State Florist Association. The only way you can keep it as strong as it is to nurture it. And so please do that. A little warning there. Okay, where's my blue-greens, my earthy people, right? We love the ocean. We love the sky, right? Now, the way color works on our brain is there is no color. Color is manufactured by our brain. So our eyes see an object, and they see the light on the object that is either absorbed by it or it's expelled by it. So when it's fully absorbed, we get what? Black. We wear black to the beach, what happens? Anybody ever been to a black sand beach? Yeah, no, you can't even walk on that thing. White sand beach? Nope. Right? You don't feel that way. So you wear the pastel colors and whites to the beach, and you feel cooler than if you had wore the black, because it truly is a physical thing that color does. But what the eye sees the most, it's easiest for the eye to see, is the color green. That's why we see so much. If you look at the globe, we see what? Green, and we see blue. It's what our eyes generate fastest and easiest. So that reflection of light makes it easier for us to see these colors. Comfort there too. A lot of people would say that blue is a neutral. Why? Because of Americans' obsession with blue jeans. Right? I know I love blue jeans. I'm always wearing something with a denim. It's comforting to me. So here we have analogous color harmony. The green's deliberate. It's not foliage, right? It's not just foliage. It's about this gorgeous hydrangea. And the blue. And then the green is very, very deliberate. And so if somebody says their favorite color is blue, which you're going to hear that a lot, can we move into just keeping it analogous? Analogous means near on the color wheel. So here we're just shifting into the cool colors. Is this a good saleable item for you? So here, my favorite, Pittosporum, pop them down in and arrange in that stuff, right? That's a good choice too, because Pittosporum is kind of a gray green, is it not? Yeah. Okay, remember what I said about the small, the short stems? So here's another short stem. Anytime I'm designing, I grab a couple of containers, and I just put foam in it, because when I get short stems, when am I going to use them? Later? Next Monday? Yeah. Am I going to put them in a bucket to use up later? I'm not pretending to be in business. I am in business, and I want to make money. Well, I'm not going to make money if it's allowed in my store to throw out those little short stems. So I learned basing techniques. Basing techniques. Can you see here that there's pillowing down below, pave, all the basing techniques, and then I came with this, turned into this little formal linear arrangement. And some of this stuff, they were cleaning for another a workshop that you guys were doing, and there were little broken stems. And somebody in the back said, oh, gee, I know she'll use them up. She won't throw those little stems away. And no, will I? You know, we paid for that stuff. So here's another one, formal linear. Formal linear is my favorite design style to teach. I want negative space because I want these flowers to show. All right? I love mass arrangements, don't get me wrong, but is there not an elegance and craftsmanship, and doesn't it not look like a designer had their hands in this arrangement? From the design style to the color choices. So you need to know that in your community, you are seen as the artist. You're the artist. And if we're going to bring in the young people to really love what we do and want our craftsmanship, we need to embrace design styles such as this called formal linear. All kinds of information on FTD website, free webinars from business to design. I've done so many for them. And so you'll see all the FTD team there, all kinds of free information. So when you have those doldrum days in the flower shop between holidays, you can sit down with your crew and watch a 20-minute or 45-minute design show. So this is my design to you, and these are broken heads, started off with broken heads and broken stems. Highly saleable though, are they not? What about the brown? You ready to go there? Yeah, what do you think of brown with fuchsia? It works, doesn't it? Sure, because brown is derived from red, is it not? This arrangement here, the black container is very heavy, so I'm not going to move it. That's my favorite way to design. It's a bit vegative. I like things as they grow and staggered in growth. We see this in nature all the time. We see things grow into this, grow into that, grow into that, where things are all at their growing height. And then I've banded it with, Tim Farrell told me there were banyan roots. They were in the back room, and it was in the up for grabs section. And I love anything textural like that. So I just banded that around, and that's a growth pattern too. So that, to me, is vegative, it's of nature. So here, I've used very tonal colors, haven't I? But where are they placed? The lighter colors are out, coming down to the darker colors. That's very important in design. We see that in most flowers. The lighter is to the outside, and the darker comes in. So when there's permission from nature like that, right? We talked about just fall itself gives us permission to do this, doesn't it? So that's a season giving us permission to do that. But the other things that come from nature would be some designs themselves, such as that. It looks a little contrived. Sometimes I do it more free, but that container just spoke to me to do something that was kind of stacked. But the point I wanted to make with that particular design was to let your light colors be out and then come down to the dark colors. That creates movement, doesn't it? What happens to the eye? It comes down like that. And then with that spiraling movement too, it does what? The eye just travels through that whole arrangement. And when you have moving lines like that, it gives the client the permission to visually look at your work a little bit longer. So I hope that's kind of work that you could do as well. Thank you. You guys are so kind. I do appreciate it. Thank you. You're very, very kind. I think I talked about everything. Oh, this one. This arrangement here. So what's the color harmony? It's analogous, right? So we went from green to yellow and tints, well, probably here just tints, and this is a little bit more intense. It's almost like an orangey yellow though, isn't it? And then the tint would be in the solidago that's based on it. But how about these beautiful, beautiful flowers? And how about that cabbage? Two of those, and the foliage, I was going to ask you what you think this needs. So if you were going to add foliage to this arrangement, here we go again. We love it, don't we? Right. Do you want to go here? No? Doesn't do anything for it, does it? Do you want to go here? Yep. I thought so too. Let's add some. This was just a mixed, beautiful box of mixed greens that Jacob got in. And so, yeah, please think of Jacob. His family's going through a struggle right now. So think of Jacob and his family. And I know he's young and spunky, but I'm just as cute as he is. I know I am. He's a good friend and such a hard worker. So I know you'll have the opportunity to see him again. There, what do you think? Did we choose the right green? Yeah. So talk to your wholesaler about, can you get a little trial box of some of these wonderful tropical greens to add some pizzazz to your work? Because I just think it makes a big difference in the kinds of greens that we used. Let's see, I think I did talk about everything. This one is more of a trend I wanted to talk about too. Remember, this was blending the very pastel with the brights, and then I banded this with paper. Normally I would decoupage this on and then put a sealant coat on it so that it could go in the cooler, but all I did was use the glue dashes. I'm not suggesting that you do that because obviously it can't get wet, but I didn't have time and I didn't have the product to do that. But I really was using this because some of these people that I follow with the trends, they say anything in your home that has words on it, live, laugh, love. What are some of the other ones? You know, all those affirmations, right? Yeah, that we're not to use those anymore. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a couple of friends, there would be nothing left in their house, right? They have so much of that stuff going on. But to me, still, it's texture too, right? So watching the trends is beyond, because a lot of us carry the gifts too, right? So anyway, I know for me, if I love it, I don't care what the trends are. I love it, and that's that. How about anybody else feel like that? Yeah. Okay, quick review. Primary colors are red, blue, yellow. Secondary colors are purple, green, orange. To get a tint, I add. To get a tone, I add. To get a shade, I add. And what's the correct proportion of color? Intensity, I'm talking about intensity or just from color to one color to the other, right? That something has to be dominant. So we want about 1/3 of something and 2/3 of something. Want to do it together? Okay. Let's do it together so I can show you what I mean. Oh, nature does speak to us. Look at this, I found this I love ribbon, and so Reliant Ribbon let me come take some snips. So this is birch. Tell me nature isn't telling you what to do with that. You can almost see the right proportions to use black, gray, and creamy white, right? Yeah. Nature tells us what to do. We don't have to invent the wheel, right? Okay, let me move this over. And this. All right, you tell me. I only need to get that wet, right? Okay. We added white. We added what? Black, right? Is this not a shade? Added black. This is as red gets, right? And then I had a couple stems of these that are, I would call shade too, wouldn't you? Okay, so what's the most? Let me bundle it up. Proportionately. Where am I? Am I mostly pink? What's the least? Probably what? The shade? It's probably mostly what? If we don't know, we've got to make some adjustments. Help me out here. It's mostly what? Pink? Mostly pink. Okay. Are we agreeing we want it mostly pink? Okay. Pink. Mostly pink. Okay, so something's going to take a back seat. Which is going to take the back seat? We could add, yeah, you know when you do garden clubs, they say, oh, you know, it's the threes, you have to arrange things in stem counts of threes. Well, if you put 3 stems of Kermit buttons beside 3 stems of hydrangea, we're not talking about stem count, are we? We're talking about visual weight, aren't we? Okay, so is this less? And then this? So what remains dominant? Pink. Okay, want to make it? Let's make it. All right, we're going to put this in the middle. And I like to be fast, and so I'm fast if I can do some spirals. And so I like to grab a bunch of flowers at once. And I just pop these together because I like things loose and airy. And then we'll choose some foliage to go too. A couple at a time. I haven't cut any stems yet, have I? No. Being fast helps you make money. All right. I'm grabbing things in twos, so I'm going to beef that one up a little bit. Anybody have an idea what kind of foliage we should use here? Now does it look like I've got my color proportions there? Is the burgundy taking a back seat? Burgundy took a back seat. Is pink dominant? Pink's dominant. Red is doing what? It's not as important, is it? But it adds that intensity of color. So that's doing its job as well. Now foliage for that. Oh yeah. Look at this, right? What do you think? Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, so arranging in my hand is super fast. I'm faster in my hand, and then adding this even after you pop this down into the vase is going to really work, right? So that's the way I want you to think about color when you're going to the cooler. I want you to think about not only the intensity of color, but your choices for this is called monochromatic. Tints, tones, and shades of the color red, right? Monochromatic color. And look, this almost, with that color on the back, it almost moves it into analogous, near on the color wheel, doesn't it? But I just think that's really beautiful. So I'll fuss with that. Ah, thanks. Add the James Story maybe for something like that, shooting off to the side. And that's moving into a little bit of an orange red, is it not? Yep. They're James Story orchids. Here. Here. There you are. Well, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you very much for having me. Make sure you stop in at the FTD booth and say hello. And let them know that you appreciate their support of your wonderful State Florist Association. The flowers that I had in the flower room were superb. Anything that Jacob asked to be procured for him was there and organized and beautifully cared for. And so the flowers that they procured from all of your vendors are just treated so wonderful in that back room. The people in the back room, I got to tell you what, they just treated me so wonderful. And so you're very, very welcoming group, and you're very, very kind, and I appreciate that you didn't boo me off the stage when Jacob didn't show up. So I appreciate you all very, very much. I'll be hanging out. I got to fly back out tonight, but I'll hang out for a few minutes. If you have any questions about how to make money in the flower business or anything about color or anything at all, because I teach a lot of business clinics for FTD as well. You've been wonderful. I appreciate you. And you do something for me, take care of the State Florist Association. God bless you. You're welcome.